So here we are again. It's day 36 and here's our first pot. So let's have a look. And remember in the last video I filled this up. The yogurt had pretty much disappeared and it was full of soldier flies. And then I filled this up with all new waste. And the hair. Wow, look at this. Fascinating. Wow. I'll just pick all... Oh, look at that. Wow. That is beautiful. That is something I love to see. So look at all those soldier flies. Now this had quite a lot of fermented wheat in it that had gone off. Oh wow, look at that. And they are beautiful. And you know, it's getting cold and these little guys are still active. I mean, it's not super cold. I'm only wearing a jumper. I'm not wearing a big coat yet. But fascinating. Look at that. And you saw that waste I put in there last week. Now look, it's pretty much turned to soil. That's in a week. See that? That's pretty awesome. And they've moved that hair down into the bottom there. You can see it's all mingled in there. So that's gone deep down. It's not just on top. Let's have a look, see what's in that. Look what's in that eggshell. Oh, fabulous, look at that. Now you don't have to stick your hands in your pots to look at this. I just do this so I can show you what's going on. But if you just leave your pots and then just keep topping them up, they'll just keep looking after themselves. But those little guys are massive, so we'll leave that to... You can see in 1 week that's almost disappeared. And again, it might be that fermented smell that the soldier flies actually like. But that hair is obviously got a long way to go before it breaks down. And no digging at all with that from the bush turkeys, none whatsoever. This pot, I put some oats on it during the week because during the heat wave I did some tests with some oats, and I think the oats were too old and none of it worked, and it was the heat wave and the oats together that didn't work. But I thought I'll just have another go now that we're coming into winter and it's a bit cooler, and I soaked these oats for quite a while in water with a little bit of liquid fertilizer. So let's see if they've actually done anything. No, so those oats are definitely bad. I'll leave it for another week anyway and just see what happens. But this is our pot that we had the fermented pineapple in last week, and if you remember, the bush turkeys had dug around it a bit in the first week, but now nothing, and pretty much this is all gone. Look, still a little bit of a way to go, but that's pretty much soil now, and there's still some beautiful soldier fly larvae in there. And on normal circumstances I'd just keep topping that up or let the worms move in and finish it off. So nothing new there really to show you. We'll leave that on and see if that makes a difference in another few days, but I don't think that's going to change. And what will happen is that those oats will actually ferment, much like the wheat did in that other pot. And I'll just tip them all into the pot when we're done next week. So on to pot number 3, and this was the one that had the fresh pineapples in it, and you can see nothing's touched it this week at all. Now either the bush turkeys have vacated, or it's got too cold for them, or the contents just aren't worth their while anymore, and maybe that fermentation as the vegetables have rotted now is enough to keep them away. But let's have a look. Well, there's very little in here, and not much really for them to want to get at, because there's not really any bugs in here now either. There's a few stray bugs, but nothing to write home about. Let me just have a smell. No odour whatsoever at all. Smells beautiful, in fact. And at this point now you can see there's half of that fresh pineapple, the core, the nub of the pineapple. So half of it's gone. The other half is probably in here somewhere. That's it probably being pulled apart there. There's still some little bits of, this is the fresh pineapple too, remember? So it hasn't decomposed as fast as the pineapple that was soaked in the water. But I wouldn't worry about it. Just from this point on, keep filling your pot up. Now, so here we are at pot 4, and I've got another show on. I thought it was this weekend, so I've planted the wheat a bit early, but it's actually next weekend. And I'm not going to disturb the top again. I'll just see if I can take that off without disturbing the wheat underneath. But you can see how it's growing beautifully under there. And this one I soaked a bit longer than the other one. I'll show you another video on that. Oh, look, there's a little soldier. Oh, he just gone. So this one, remember I added, it was very, very dry last week when we looked at it. And I added a lot of water, and there was some, it was old fermented water, that stagnant water that I had for the birds, and it needed a clean out. So there were lots of leaves in there as well. So I'll take those leaves out. Now we're finally getting somewhere with this. So you can see, in actual fact, those little leaves on top have kept the moisture in that a lot better than it would have before. Oh wow, this is just chock-a-block with mites. Now you can't see those. Let me see if I can hold that up really close. I don't know if you can see that, but can you see them? It looks like sand, but they're actually thousands of little mites. But this has definitely broken down a lot more since we last saw it. Remember, that was a piece of paper toweling, I think. Let's have a look and make sure that was the paper toweling. Oh, lots of little baby soldier flies in there now. So now it's really starting to move along now that it's a lot more moist, and you can see that that's definitely more moist than it was those first few weeks. So definitely adding your water can make a big difference, something you definitely need to do over winter so that those contents don't dry out. Oh, how did that piece of glass get in there? That's interesting. But this is definitely a slow pot. Oh, it's chock-a-block with soldier flies now. Right down the bottom here, there's masses of them. Look at this. There was a lot of soldier flies in here last week too, and that's still quite warm under there, but it's definitely breaking down quicker. Now it's tending to use more of all the elements and not just the soldier flies. So the air, the water, the bacteria, the little critters, the mites. And we'll put that layer of leaves back on top of there, because I reckon that's keeping it nice and moist inside. And that's a good reason why when you're normally while you cover your pots with your liquid fertilizer, with your grass clippings or whatever, to keep that cold air out and keep those contents nice and moist. And you can see just up behind there, my little comfrey plant is not doing so well. It hasn't been watered and it hasn't really rained. So I'll give that a good water today. And we've got some rain on the way, I think, soon, because it's quite overcast today. Oh, there's some beautiful new little shoots under there, see there? I need to take care of it a lot more than I do, or than I have time to do. Let's give it a good soak. So here we are at pot number 5, and remember it was the one that had the broken lid. And again, I've tried some oats in here, and these oats I only soaked for about 20 minutes, and I'm fairly sure that this has been a failure again. Yep, definite failure. Those oats are obviously too old, so it doesn't seem to have made a difference because of the time of the year. The oats are just old, but you can see this is writhing away here, and my guess is that there are soldier flies in there. Oh, there is. There we go, look at that. So they've helped themselves to all the content in the top there. I could probably just leave that, let them munch away at that. Let's have a look underneath. Now remember, this had the Gatorade in it and the old Sustagen, and there really lots of dry contents were in here too. But this is teeming with soldier flies still. So there's obviously still lots in there for them to eat. But look how beautiful that soil is. Look at that. I reckon another week and that'd be pretty much gone. But under normal circumstances, I wouldn't bother. I'd just keep topping it up so those soldier flies will just keep munching away. Actually, you know what I might do? I might put this, we know this, oh, there's one tiny little oats that's sprouted there, but that's not going to be enough. It's fairly clear to me that that is not going to work. The oats are too old. So let's chuck them in there as well. And actually I'll just put all that soil in there as well. Oh, look at the soldier flies in there, look. Now you won't get that in the wheat, which is growing nicely. It's just because this oats is no good. Clearly no good. And this is old worm poo and garden soil that I mixed together in my little batch. But so it doesn't matter if it goes in the pot here, it'll end up in the soil. And you know what, I might leave this lid on. It's in better condition than that other lid. I think I might retire this lid. I think it's had its day. I could probably use it for something, so I won't throw it out. I'll use it for something. But look at that beautiful soil in the top of that lid as the grass clippings have broken down. So that's fantastic. So, and that's without the soldier flies. That's just grass clippings breaking down on the top. And what happens when you put your grass clippings on the top of here, like so, the heat from the bottom helps break those grass clippings down. So it actually aids in the decomposition process of your grass clippings. And then just mix that into the soil. And that would be beautiful if I had some plants in here. One day we're going to get there. But at the moment, it's all about waste disposal. Thanks for watching.